Wednesday, April 16th? Yes. 2025. It is some time of day. I don't know what time it is. It's like 6 something. Everybody's out. It's crazy how many people we've come to know here in this little town in such a short time. Such a short time. What's it been? It's only been about 7 months here, 8 months. We've gotten to know a lot of people, and we've gotten to know some of them quite well. I'm off to do my journal and to go grab a donut. It's Wednesday after all. That's when the freshies come. And to drop off the garbage and to get water. Oh, I think I found a workaround where I can make a video, and I believe that I'm recording my voice right now also. Because I have 2 cameras going. I got my phone, I got this camera. Now I got the camera doing a video in case I capture some golden nugget of inspiration or insight or something, just in case something comes to me. You never know. It happens. But I can also just do my journal and easily get the transcripts, which was like the biggest struggle yesterday in trying to do this video journal and all that stuff. And this way, I mean, I guess it takes the anxiety away from being on video because, you know, there is still some anxiety in making videos for me. Like it's not as comfortable as just a journal, like just dictating my journal, talking about my subconscious mind. Speaking of subconscious mind and that kind of thing, I have a podcast coming up next week with a guy from school who started his community recently, and his community is about screen addiction and helping people to overcome screen addiction. I just heard from him this morning about, because I reached out like a little while back and said, hey, what are we going to talk about? Let's prep a little bit for this podcast, because I've done podcasts before of my own, and they were free form, and I didn't know really what to do with them because they were so free form, and so I was hoping we could kind of outline our conversation before we had it. But anyway, he reached out. He said he's interested to talk about the subconscious mind in relation to screen addiction and in relation to what I'm creating on Dream School and stuff like that. So yeah, that'll be a good opportunity. I should brush up on my facts and things, but I think it'll be a fun conversation. And I wanted to show up like me. Like I'm not an expert in brain science or the subconscious mind or anything like that. I'm just a human being, and like all human beings, I have an experience in my dreams, and I have a subconscious, as does everyone. And I don't think that you necessarily need to study the brain with an MRI machine to understand your brain. You just need to get quiet and listen. And that's like, yeah, sure, like modern science and brain imaging and mapping and that kind of stuff. It's interesting, but it's from my perspective, those tools are limited. They make it seem like those tools are the end all be all of understanding, and I don't think that's true. I think it makes things easier for most people to understand because it reinforces the reality that those who are profiting want people to live in. And it sounds conspiratorial, and I think it is a little bit, but if the powers that be want you to think that life is this physical experience, this human experience is all about physicality, then, of course they're going to use the tools of physicality to demonstrate and to reaffirm the truth of that. And while it is true, I'm not saying that we don't live in a physical world and physicality is truth. It's just not the entire truth. And there's so much more to explore, and there's so many more ways to explore it. And you don't need to be in a sterile room with advanced technology and all that kind of stuff to explore your own mind. And that brings me to like another point about it. That's, you know, the work that I'm doing is, it's about self-exploration. It's not about my interpretation of your mind. It's about me guiding you to your interpretation of it. I'm more interested in that because I learn that way. If I show up and I'm like, oh yeah, this means this and this means that kind of, it defeats the purpose, and it makes me an authority, and I'm not trying to be an authority. I'm just trying to be a facilitator of ideas. This idea in particular, that you're the owner of your mind, and the value of that is profound. That's why that's why, and you can see why. That's why so much money goes toward advertising and product development and marketing and all this kind of stuff, because it's a battle for your mind, for your attention, for your energy. Those are the real valuable things. Those are your most valuable things that you give away for free most of the time. And then you even pay other people to capture your attention even more. And I mean, that's my message underneath it all. One of them, a big one. And it's, you know, to have people reclaim their attention and their energy, their focus for themselves. It really is the most valuable asset that you possess. That is why so much money goes toward capturing your attention. And this is not new news. This has been around for a long time. People have known this for a very long time. That's how you gain control. You make a scene, you make a spectacle, you put on a show, and then people's attention is drawn away from whatever. It's just whatever you want to. And don't get me wrong, if you want to watch the show, go for it. If you want to pay attention to what somebody else is doing over here, go for it. I don't care. Like, I really don't. I care for myself. I care for myself because, you know, my time here on the planet is maybe limited and short. I'm not saying that it necessarily is, because that's something I don't know. It's another thing that through the work that I'm doing, I am actually able to investigate and find out for myself. And that's the message too. It's like, find out for yourself. Like, have a real experience. Don't rely on your education coming from books and authorities. Like, you have the capacity to explore and understand and educate yourself without the need for external sources, validation, experts, authorities, books, whatever. Am I going to get a donut today? What do you think? I probably should. Of course. So Nick wants to talk about subconscious mind and how it affects, or how it relates to device and screen time and stuff like that. I mean, simply put, we've been looking at screens for decades now, and I know that Nick wasn't happy about me using the word "we" last time, but like, I'm not gonna let up using that word "we" because it's accurate. Like, many of us, we have been watching screens for decades and decades. And now, like, I'm in my truck right now. I've got, maybe my dash doesn't count as much, but I've got this screen on this camera, I've got this screen on my cell phone, and I've got this screen in my console in my truck. I got 3 screens in my truck, right? In my last truck, there was a screen that popped up in my mirror when I would go to reverse. And no screen is reality. The screen itself is reality, sure. But what comes through the screen it could be anything. That's the thing. Somebody out there is pushing war, conflict, threatening, nuclear disaster, and it may be true, it may be not true. I'm not denying that, you know, the things that are happening in the world are happening. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that through a screen, I mean, I've seen movies with, you know, alien invasions, right? And they can be convincing. And so what I'm saying is that, like, anything on a screen can be made to be convincing that it's real. When you're a kid, you see a horror movie, or you even see something scary on the news or something, and you might have a nightmare. And the thing is that all of these images we take in are making impressions on your mind. They're making impressions on your subconscious, and your subconscious is very delicate. It's like very soft material. It's very easily impressed. And it's less so when you have consciousness about it. So the more aware you are of the impressions that you take in, of the images and the dramas and the stories even, the more awareness you have around those things, the more power you have over them to choose yes or no. It's not about investigating the reality of these things, unless you, of course, unless you want to. I mean, it's a very valuable thing to do. My message is that if you're going to investigate the reality of these things, do it for yourself first. And consider that even the reality that you find, there's another reality underneath it. And maybe even another reality underneath that. I'm trying to get people to see, to understand, to consider that there's more to life. There's just more. And we're focused so much on the experience of this physical existence. And personally, I believe that this physical existence is a manifestation of more subtle influences. Meaning, physical reality is created from the things, the materials of dreams, emotions, thoughts first. It's not the other way around, although it can go the other way. And that is how this reality is stabilized. We come to expect a certain thing, and so we create more of it. People are master manifestors. We're all master manifestors. It's just that we're not being intentional with, most of the time, most of us aren't being intentional with what we're creating. And in order to have intention around your creation, we need to wake up. We need to wake up to the reality that we're creating our own reality, no matter what. Like whether you're trying to create a specific reality or not, you're creating the reality that you're experiencing. I think that was really helpful for me today. So I am going to grab a donut now, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to process this stuff. Thanks for checking in.